What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 and another defense spotlight. This is another one that's been heavily requested, and that is the absolutely wonderful Frostbite Tower. Now, a few things to note about the Frostbite Tower. First off, it does have a little bit of a conflict with different shards, and it has a lack of mods, so to speak. That's kind of a good thing because the range on it is very difficult to get to with Deadly Strikes and even a Gilded Deadly Strikes. So to get to the range cap of 4,000, you would need to either go with a range mod and a Deadly Strikes or Gilded Deadly Strikes, or just go with Vicious Strikes. So I personally always use Vicious Strikes in my Frostbite Tower. Now, before I move on any further, first things first, don't use the Frostbite Tower if you don't have Frosty power. I mean, you can use it. It is going to provide a slow on the lane, give a little AoE. However, in my opinion, you could spend that 30 DU elsewhere a little bit more wisely if you have yet to make it to Chaos 6 and grab the Frosty Power Shard. The Frosty Power Shard will increase the defense power of defenses in the area of the Frosty Power effect for 50%. As you see, this shard is gilded, so it goes up to 58%, and this actually makes it the strongest boost or buff in the game. Now, it does not work with buff mods, so if you went and put, say, let's see, I've got to have one here somewhere. Maybe not. If you put a buff damage mod basically along with it, it is not going to pass on the benefit. There's a lot of bugs with that right now. Frosty Power is one of them. I would assume that a tower that was being buffed by Frosty Power should count as a buffed tower. However, currently it does not. So you can achieve greater numbers if you have that setup. I personally don't like to use that setup because I don't want to nerf my tower and force myself to use a buff mod if the DU isn't available. So anyway, looking at the Frostbite Tower, it does provide a slow. It's not a tower that you're going to get great benefit out of upgrading. As you see, the slow, it slows mobs down to 58.5%, and if you upgrade it, the slow amount is increased all the way up to tier 5 and 49 or 46.8%. Now there is a shard that you can use to lower the slow 2 amount, and I'm actually debating on throwing it into the mix as soon as I can get one gilded. However, the shard package that I personally like to go with is Frosty Power, of course, Vicious Strikes we've already mentioned, and Empowered Frostbite. Empowered Frostbite is going to give a chance to freeze at the end of the Frostbite channel. So it's a 45% chance for 8 seconds, so it's a very nice freeze. It's excellent CC. It's debatable what you should put on that. Now, Frosty Power, of course, increases the defense power of the tower in the area of the effect based off of my tower's defense power. Now, this does not stack with other shards, so like a no-brainer choice would be able to remove Empowered Frostbite and add Destruction in there if those two stack together. However, currently they do not, so Destruction will not assist your Frosty Power in any way. Now, with that being said, it does stack with mods. So the mods I like to use are Diverse Power Servo, Unique Power Servo, and Power Servo. Now, Unique Power Servo, of course, the only time you're getting the benefit of it is if it's the only Frosty on the map. And I actually try to do this from time to time, as when it is the only Frosty on the map, oh, it is a beast as a defense. It boosts that defense power of the tower by 15,000 with this mod that I have. Now, if you look at the Frostbite Tower stats over here, you see mine is 59,051. That is adjusted by the Power Servo shard or mod. However, it is not getting a benefit from Diverse Power or Unique Power, so you will never see the true number right here on your hero information screen. Now remember, my Frosty Power Gilded is doing 58%, so it is given a 30+ thousand defense power buff to the tower or defense in the area of the Frosty Power effect. Now, I keep saying that, and I know a lot of people are confused about how Frosty Power works, and this is how it is. If you throw a Frosty Power down and throw other towers around it, these other towers are not getting buffed. If you see the little frosty cloud around the enemies, that is the area of effect of the buff. So with that being said, this is a tower that just naturally goes with auras, traps, and nodes. It does a great job with those, and in fact, it is pretty ridiculous with a flamethrower as well. I think my flamethrower is probably unmodded and uncharted. 473,000 DPS. Let's look at the DPS with the Frosty Power buff. It gets jacked up through the roof, 840,000. So, I mean, raised by almost 400,000 DPS of my flamethrower tower. Just absolutely absurd. Now, there is no set indicator as far as the range of the Frosty Power, so it's a little difficult to see. However, you can easily kind of practice the range right here in your tavern. So, let's say I'm going to throw down a flamethrower, or pardon me, a flame aura. Now, the base of the flame aura, of course, is the post in the middle, so Frosty Power would have to reach over to that post to get the benefit. If we look here, the tooltip DPS, which is incorrect, is 855,000, and if we throw down Frosty Power, we're going to see that gets bumped up to 1.31 million while the Frosty is channeling. So just a really, really nice DPS buff, plus providing a slow and a freeze in the lane, making the Frostbite Tower just really a go-to defense if you are a fan of traps, auras, and nodes. As we all know, I love the EV2, I love the weapon manufacturer, and my second favorite hero is without a doubt the monk, and I love using auras. That came from DD1, and I just can't get over it. I want aura stacks in every single lane on every map that I do, as it just gives me those feels of why I loved Dungeon Defenders 1 so much. Now, in practicing this range, let's put the flame aura, say, out to here. The Frosty is channeling, and we look and we see it's not getting the buff. So this is too far away from the target. So if we move that in a little bit closer, put it, say, right here, here we see that we are getting the buff. So wherever your target enemy is, you want your defense's base to be within that range of the target getting hit. Now, where this is particularly helpful, if you're, doing a map that you've got a string of, say, auras, and you throw a Frosty Tower down covering the whole string, as the mobs pass through, assuming they don't die, of course, it's going to buff all of the flame auras that they're getting close to. So the Frostbite Tower is definitely a powerhouse. It's really nice to be using it again, as it is a fun tower, and keep in mind, it does hit flyers as well, so with that empowered Frostbite shard on it, you actually have some built-in flyer defense as well. Now, it's not really good enough to use as flyer defense by itself, in my opinion. You could try it out. Maybe if you put multiples, you might have better luck with it. However, it will freeze flyers and it will hit flyers, which is just a nice added benefit. So by using a Frostbite Tower, you're buffing your other defenses in the area, you're providing a slow to all the mobs in that lane, plus you're providing a freeze, which is going to be a stun to one enemy in the lane, and if that just so happens to be a flyer, it is going to take that flyer out. Taking a look at the Ascension for the Frostbite Tower, it makes it very easy to build with other things. Of course, I've got a little higher Ascension, so I'm able to spread it all out. However, one thing to note right away, you get no benefit out of the utility category of the Frostbite Tower. So with that in mind, you can easily make this hero a DPS hero, you can build with another defense, as you have no conflicts in the utility category. Moving over to defense speed, or the defense category, the first thing you want to go into is actually the Frostbite Slow. The Frostbite does get a little small channeling benefit from defense speed, however, it's something you really don't need to concern yourself with. It's not big enough to make a difference. However, you only have 20 points into Frostbite Slow, making it very easy to get to the point where you're specializing in another tower. And in fact, at 120 Ascension, which is very achievable for everyone, you can have a tower maximized in the utility category, a tower almost or to the point where you're going to start going into defense power on it in the defense category because you only have the 40 points right here, or it would allow you to fully deck out the utility category for a DPS hero, have no conflicts at all, and move right over to offense. And if you have an apprentice that is a DPS apprentice, there's no reason not to make this your Frostbite apprentice as well, as there will be no conflicts whatsoever with the Ascension. So that will do it for now. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any other questions regarding the Frostbite, let me know down in the comments below and I'll do my best to get them answered. But thank you once again, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.